Hey everybody, I'm Russo, and I do a little work here and there. You are watching Reclaimed Wholesale, where, when the mood strikes, I take some things that basically amount to junk and turn them into something that I can use. In this case, I am working on a bookcase. This is what amounts to half a bookcase. Once upon a time, I had 3 bookshelves, 2 just this height, and 1 with 5 shelves. So now I have all of that wood, or, it's sort of wood, so I'm not really worried about wasting or ruining it or anything like that. The brunt of the pieces are these 72 centimeter by 29 centimeter shelves. And since most of these did have heavy books on top of them, they aren't exactly straight. Luckily, or unluckily as the case may be, these shelves do bend easily, so fingers crossed, hold my tongue right, they may straighten out a bit yet. So 13 of these, and the idea is to use them as the shelves and as the backing. Lots of screws, but generally just 2 screws between any 2 pieces of wood. The first order of business is to make these L-shaped pieces, and technically these are upside down, even though it may look the other way. You might have noticed the double thick shelves on the bottom half, and the same thing's going to happen here. In all, I had to make 4 of these. The other 2 have been installed. And there is one lone shelf that ends up being a backing board on the 3rd shelf of the top section. Back to the point. The idea is just to shore everything up and to support the weight of each of the floating shelves with all of the connections on a nearby edgewise board. So the sides for the top section, of which I have 2, are 100 centimeters by 29.5 centimeters, and they do have some peg holes on the back that I may, at some point, fill, but right now it's not really an issue. So the procedure after constructing the shelves is to measure and space them out on the side pieces. Here I have 100 centimeters to work with, so I figure 33.3 or thereabout, from some equidistant area from shelf to shelf. And to do this connecting, I'm using number 6 Phillips indoor wood screws. They're pretty standard, pretty cheap, and they should hold this thing together. The only thing you have to worry about is getting them centered, since, you don't want to split this fiber board apart. So I've got my measuring tape, which for shelf placement I will use to check 33 or so centimeters from bottom of shelf to bottom of shelf, and I'll also measure from the edge of the board up to some predetermined point to make the screw holes that actually end up holding the whole thing together. You may have also noticed that I'm not using power tools, so I may occasionally use a hammer to get one of these wood screws started. Hard to say. Then I'm using a ratchet and a bit of weight to actually put the screws in. True, it takes quite a bit longer, and it is quite a bit more effort, but like I said, you don't want to split out the side of this stuff, and the rest of the plan here is to screw in the backs of the shelves before then squaring up and screwing in the actual shelves, and you just do one shelf and then move down to the next, or I guess technically it's up. And then you do the top and the bottom, the top, of course, also screwing into one of the backboards. And, in all, it's not that tough. Throw in a 75.5 centimeter by 29.5 centimeter board, and you got a nice little crown to top it all off. And, you can put stuff up there, too. The tops and bottoms of each section are 80 centimeter boards, of which I had 6, and that's 75.5 when I just had the 1. After that, you can just set the whole thing up and slide in the extra boards that make up the double shelves. And those, I suppose, you can screw in if you'd like, though personally I wouldn't. It's a big hassle. So yeah, lots of improvements to make to this. Maybe some edging for the front of the shelves, maybe fill all those holes. And there are definitely some exposed edges that need filling and painting. It'll be a whole process. Then there's the matter of that cubby and what to do with it, but I think it's fine for what it's worth. I have some really tall books, coffee table things that people give you as gifts when they're on sale, but that look very expensive when the price tag is missing. And yeah, they fit there pretty well, and I think it'll pretty much stand for now. It's sturdy if nothing else. Yeah, pretty much the end of the story. So, if I had to give you a moral, I suppose the basic tenets here are to figure out what you have, and then figure out the biggest thing you can make from that. And in this case, it's a pretty tall bookshelf. So look forward to more stuff like this, because I've got a lot of things that need doing. So yeah, you've been watching Reclaimed Wholesale on Russo Works and I'm Rousseau. Out.